We'll be back. Hasta la vista.
Calculating cyber operations. I'm sorry, John. I'm afraid I can't do that.
There's a lot of fears about AI, but AI also can be used to accomplish some pretty amazing things if you want. If you're creative, you can employ it to do what you might not be able to do otherwise. So of course, people are gonna use it to scam other people. Immediately, they're gonna use it to victimize people, to rob people, and they're being pretty sophisticated about it. They're not necessarily coming up with totally new scams, but they're making the scams much more effective thanks to AI, specifically the ability to duplicate people's voices. It is possible to use generative AI tools to use audio samples of people speaking to then allow you to duplicate it. And to duplicate it in real time. They actually have some tools where you can be like typing in sentences and it'll say it in a person's voice. So if you were a fan of the original scam, in this particular case, someone would call a person pretending to be the police, claiming that a friend or a family member needs money quick to get out of legal trouble. Now, using AI, the scammer can pretend to be someone's child or other relative, wife or husband, using a clone of the real relative's voice. First of all, I will say, just as a general warning, I don't think that the cops ever call asking for money for your relative. I don't think that that's a thing that happens. But I get the reason they do this is people will be worried. They'll be worried that something will happen. There's much more insidious versions of this, by the way. They'll pretend to have kidnapped the person. They'll have people screaming in the background. They'll say, we're gonna kill your family member if you don't give us money. So that's the sort of thing that they do as well. But now they don't have to have the cops. They can have your daughter or your husband or your uncle or whatever, and they are doing that. A lot of people have already lost money in these AI-enabled scam calls. 77% of people targeted by these that have responded to polls at least say that they've lost money as a result of it. More than a third lost more than $1,000. Nearly half of adults said that they would respond to a voice note or voicemail from a friend or loved one asking for money. 48% said that they'd send money if they got a note saying a friend or loved one was having car trouble or was in an accident. By the way, let me say, I understand why they're doing this survey. They want to demonstrate that this is an area of concern. But when you, I guess, and we're doing this too, when you publicize what percentage of people would send money if this was the appeal, you're also maybe convincing some scammers to use this. But anyway, I'd be worried about this. I could see this potentially snagging some people, especially older people.
Yeah, I think it already has to a degree, as you saw already there, but it's gonna get better and better and better. So, I mean, I figure the next step would be make sure you call the person back. There's usually a process when it comes to sending someone money, right? And everyone has their money, their bank exchange type of sites, like with the Venmos and Cash Apps and stuff. Well, who knows if that's even the route that they're going. But I would think it would take a couple more steps. I get getting fooled by the AI voice and all that. There has to be a certain amount of communication and exchange you have with your family member, which you think it is, where you can get a chance to figure out if it's really them or where and why this is happening. Yeah. Just like the police thing, like who's just gonna send a random officer, even if it's real, some cash for your family member? I don't know, man.
I mean, look, they call you up, JR. I've got your cousin. I've got a gun to her head. Send money or I'm pulling the trigger. Like they don't want to give you time to like Google, like, is this legit or whatever? Yeah, it's concerning.
Yeah, I mean, it could get serious.
As people have pointed out, having some sort of family password theoretically is a good thing. I'm sure some scammers have figured out ways around that too, but definitely something to be on watch for. There's been phishing scams for a long time. They're going to be more convincing. And by the way, they're doing voice now because voice is what they can do. They'll be able to do video eventually.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.